Jay here for Stretford Paddock, that's Dave Pritt, and it's not the Academy review because that's what me and Dave used to do. It's a little look at a certain man called Kobbie Mainoo. Well, I say a man, he's almost a boy, he's only a teenager, but we've already seen bits of him to know he's a very, very special lad. He's a supreme talent, but you've seen a lot of him over the last few years, haven't you? You've seen him in the academy, you've seen what he can do. So we thought we'd have a little chat about him because he's been back in training after that injury against Real Madrid in pre-season. There's a good chance he's going to get minutes under Erik ten Hag. We're all excited about it, so we thought we'd have a chat and see just what you can tell us about him, what we can expect, what we already know as well, and just want you guys to get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know what you think about the youngster. Dave, what was your thoughts when you saw sort of Kobbie Mainoo in pre-season, his performance against Arsenal? Because a lot of people looked at that and they were blown away by it. Was that a surprise to you?
It wasn't as much as a surprise as most people, but yeah, I was surprised he was doing it at that level so quickly because obviously when I saw him, he was just running the show. And then that step up from under the 18s level to, I know it's pre-season, but he's still playing Arsenal. I thought he may struggle, he may do well, but I thought he absolutely smashed it. You
talk about in the academy teams because I mean, I saw him a couple of times in the academy when we won the FA Youth Cup. You saw him during that run. You saw a lot of him, and he was in those teams as well. When he was a young lad, he was getting into the team when he was even 16. 15,
yeah,
16.
You can tell with the academy, the lads who have got a chance of making it, they're usually 16 when they get into the like. Shola Shoretiri or Shortire, he's gone back to it now, hasn't he?
This has been a running theme with me and Dave, right? We thought it was Shoretiri, and then he did a video himself where he said Shortire, so we'll never know.
He was 15, I think, when he got into the academy. So people who you think going to make a career in football usually get into the 18s pretty early. But yeah, he was 16. Once again, playing against pretty strong lads in midfield and looks, like he was the best player on the pitch.
What type of a player is he? Because you've seen quite a bit of him. Is he a 6? Is he an 8? Can he be a 10? I've seen a little bit of him, but I just wanted to get your take on it. Where do you think his best position is?
You'd probably say an 8 because he can do all three roles. For me, it's his strength in midfield of winning the ball and just shouldering people off and just keeping possession. Short passes, his range as well of long passes, putting people through. I think he got quite a few assists. He got a couple in the Youth Cup run anyway. But yeah, it's just his strength and just his calmness in midfield. It just looks like, when you go to a reserve game and they put a senior player who's just coming back from injury and it's just like he's running the show. That was Kobbie Mainoo in the FA Youth Cup run, and it's no surprise that people are begging for him to be fit to get back in the first team because I think he really will do a job.
You talk about doing a job now. Unfortunately, he got that injury in pre-season and that scuppered him. He's been in training. We've seen footage of him. I think we've got a little clip of him just doing some bits as well, doing some passes that have impressed everyone, least of all me. What do you think is the best way for Erik ten Hag to handle this lad? Because we know he's talented. We know he's got ability. We know he's been a man amongst boys in the academy team. Can he go into the first team at Manchester United? Does he need to be brought in gradually? Or even a loan move? What do you think is the best option?
I think we'd bring him in because we look at, you've got Ericsson there, you've got Casemiro, who's always getting cards and bookings and suspensions. I think this lad can really shine and just give him the opportunity in certain games. I think he will just be amazing. I don't think he'll struggle like other players coming into the first team have because, like I say, when it was him and Rice won it in pre-season.
And I think it was in New Jersey.
Yeah, and it looked like the multi-million-pound signing. It didn't look like Declan Rice to me. So if he can do it against him, I think he can do it against most of the league. He may not do it every week, but he's a young lad. It's about just giving him a few opportunities. If he does well, keep him in. If he doesn't, just bed him back in and just see how he can go on.
If you had to compare him to anyone, because we love a comparison on this channel.
Oh yeah,
because on this video, we always throw Dave under the bus with some of these comparisons. But I promise I won't throw you under the bus. Is there a player that he reminds you of a little bit? Like, is similar? I'm not saying, I'm not going to say, he's as good as him now. We might be one day.
Well, this is what happened last time. I compared him to, he had certain attributes of someone, and you said he's as good as, better than.
You said he was better than him. You said Ethan Galbraith was better than Scholesy. Those are your exact words.
Shooting from outside the box. But you
everything you said. He was better than a Pete Scholes was your exact words. Go on. If you had to compare Kobbie Mainoo, just so, like, for people like me, who are a bit basic, he reminds me of that player.
If I say this, though, you're just going to go on. Me. He's a less aggressive, Roy Keane.
Wow. Wow. He's a more disciplined Roy Keane. He's better than Keano. You heard it here first from David Pritt, right? Remember the day Dave Pritt stuck his neck out and said Kobbie Mainoo, is better than Keano ever was. I'm astounded you've said that about Manchester United's most successful ever captain. But fair play, you've gone for it. So, yeah, I mean, the kid's played like 90 minutes for the first team and already he's better than Roy Keane. That is amazing. That's the sound of a million tweets getting sent to Dave Pritt now. What are you on about? What worries do you have? Because, in all seriousness, I've seen good youngsters before. I'm old enough to remember a lot of youngsters, and I've stuck my neck out before with the likes of Teddy Cook and Simon Davis and Kiko Makeda and players like that. And for one reason or another, it hasn't quite worked out. I'm not saying it won't for Kobbie Mainoo. I think he's got all the attributes you want. Do you have any concerns where you think this could go wrong? You need to be careful about this, or he's just got to be mindful.
Yeah, the only concern I've had is injury.
Yeah.
He's had it obviously quite young, and if that reoccurs, that may be an issue. But I think he's got the right headspace. He doesn't look like he was never the star of the show either. In the 18s team, everyone was talking Garnacho, McNeil, all these other players. He was just doing the job and just doing it really well. And for me, man of the match in most games. But he never got like the attributes that all the other players did, and I think he was fine with that. And I think so. If he's playing, I don't think he'll be bothered about other players getting all the attributes if he's doing well. It's just his injuries for me. If he can stay fit, I think he's got no issues at all. Did
he have many injury issues when he was a youngster?
No, not that I can recall. Maybe I'm wrong there, but not that I can remember or getting told about. But it's just, it's just always the way in it when a player's ready to be in the first team and they get an injury, it could always be an issue. Yeah,
I think that's the one thing I would say, because I'm always keen to see youngsters given an opportunity. And I think Manchester United, people talk about the United DNA and what United are all about and the fabric of the club and all that nonsense. But I think the only way you can sort of see a thread that's always ran through Manchester United teams isn't the style of play, isn't anything like that. I think it's the academy. Yeah, you always give opportunities to the academy.
You've got to give opportunities, but you've still got to be good enough to get that opportunity.
No, that's a good point. So I do want to see youngsters given a chance if they're good enough. Ryan Giggs, I saw when he was 18, he was a first teamer. I'm not saying Mainoo was going to be as good as Ryan Giggs. I'm not going like you are with the Keano comparison just yet. But the point was, if you're good enough, you're in the team, and that's what we've done in the past, haven't we? Yeah. You've gone, look at these players. Look, Marcus broke into the team when he was still a teenager. Garnacho's in the team when he's a teenager. Like Giggs, other players going back to Whiteside and players like that, where you go, look, he's got it. Just stick him in. And I think that should be the case with Mainoo. I just feel that we've got to be careful, especially when he's picked up a knock.
Yeah,
we don't.
Like I say, that's my only concern, and I think the way that Ten Hag has talked about him and the way he's utilised him, I think he'll just make sure he's looked after. I'm sure they're on top of him constantly.
Just finally, you said like he's a bit of an 8. He can pick a pass. He can obviously get stuck in. Has he got anything in his locker terms of shooting, things like that?
I've actually not seen any goals from him, but just like I say, it's just like for me at that age level anyway, he was just the perfect midfielder. He looks better than all the midfielders on the pitch. He looked like he was another age group up or a first team player. Yeah, he was just everything he did was right. He's head on a swivel, knowing where players are, just first touch, passing out, and then the long passes as well. It was really, really nice to watch.
It's good that I remember when I used to watch the academy quite a lot, and we had that golden era where we had the likes of Pogba and Ravel, Ryan Tunnicliffe, my favourite, of course,
obviously, don't forget,
and the Keane brothers. And you watch Pogba and you'd go, he just looks like a man playing amongst boys. He just looks. You knew there was something there, and we knew when we got him anyway because we got him from Le Havre. And there's certain players you watch and you can see him, especially midfield, because it's tough in it in midfield. So sometimes,
yeah, you always know that you always can set the play. They may not always make it at United, but they're going to make a career in football. And we've gone through like Dylan Levitt and stuff like that. Obviously not made it at United, but you've seen that. When we
James Garner's another one, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at him now, Premier League, goal scorer and stuff to do.
I think everyone predicted that. I mean, you did. We sat here and we spoke about James Garner. Everyone was like, "Look, if anyone's going to make it, it's going to be him." And I know he's not made it at United, but he's certainly made it at the Premier League so far, anyway. And I wish him well. So, yeah, I'm excited in Kobbie Mainoo. I'm trying to temper my excitement because he looks like a real talent. From what I've seen, I've only seen him a few times, but he does look.
Yeah, for me, like I've obviously not seen the academy much lately. That's why we haven't done any academy reviews. Yep. But last set of games I went to when he was still playing, he was the best player there by far.
and in a successful team as well.
Yeah, exactly. A team that won trophies.
That's what you need, a successful player in a successful team. Hopefully, Kobbie Mainoo can live up to Dave Pritt's expectation that he's going to be better, or he's already better than Roy Keane. Maybe he can be better than anyone.
Roy Keane's retired, so
yeah. Dave, always a pleasure. Where can people find you?
Yeah.
That's not an
search
answer.
for David Pritt, you'll find me.
You'll find him. You know where he is. Make sure as well you are subscribing to the channel. That's been Dave Pritt. I've been Jay Boyer. This has been a look at Kobbie Mainoo, who could go right to the very top. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching.